Described by researchers as the single most unexplored region of the planet, our oceans are teeming with both undocumented marine species and impossible to explain mysteries that leave research scientists in both fear and awe of the underwater world. Few of these discoveries, however, are as phantasmagoric in nature as the reported sightings of humanoid sea people witnessed by a number of historical figures in the past. Referred to as mermaids, these elusive half-human, half-fish hybrid creatures are at the center of peculiar sightings from all around the world. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over 4 mysterious mermaid encounters that have yet to be explained. The 1890 Newark Bay sighting. Back in 1472, after ceaseless battles spanning over several hundred years against the Norse civilization, the Scottish people went on to claim the lasting ownership of the region of Orkney, a group of 70 stunningly beautiful islands that hold a rich history of human habitation for more than 8,000 years. Since the dawn of this strained ownership, however, Scotland has seen its own fair share of odd detailed reports describing strange aquatic humanoid creatures nearing the shores of the Orkney Islands. Although there are too many stories to tell surrounding the mermaids of Orkney over several centuries, the most well-known sighting of the Orkney mermaids is that of the 1890 Newark Bay sighting that took place off the shore of the easternmost peninsula of the mainland island known as Deerness. Later referred to as the Deerness Mermaid, the aquatic humanoid creature was the conjecture of more than several hundred sightings, made by both visitors and locals to the island. Unlike common mermaid tales, however, the Deerness Mermaid was described as being a terrifying creature to look at. Reports claimed that the creature was estimated to be more than 7 feet in length from the top of the head to the tail, and had a long black head with a torso that was pale white in colour, similar to that of a body bloated at sea. Its most terrifying features were its elongated arms, with reports claiming to have seen the creature clawing up on rocks or moving in long, dramatic waving motions as if begging people to enter the water alongside the creature. Sightings of the Deerness Mermaid would continue for the following years, with claims that the creature would return in the summer months and disappear during the winter months. It was due to these repetitive sightings that the popularity of the creature grew, with visitors taking trips to the mainland Orkney Island in the hopes of spotting the mermaid for themselves. Although random mermaid sightings around the shores of the Orkney Islands have persisted even up until the modern day, the last known continued sighting of the Deerness Mermaid is believed to have been made back in 1893, with the creature fitting the exact description of the Deerness Mermaid never reported or seen again thereafter. Sightings of the Zimbabwe merfolk. Unlike the cute, animated portrayals of the mythical creature, the mermaids of Zimbabwe have been a recurring problem for those living nearby large waterways in the country, as the humanoid creatures have reportedly been at the center of a variety of random attacks, terrifying vandalism, and delays in construction efforts. Back in 2012, while working on the Gokwe and Osborne dams, the Zimbabwe construction company claimed that nearly every employee had left the construction site in fear for their lives after having been attacked by a strange humanoid river monster known as the Mamba Muntu. It was believed that the Mambu Muntu used the rivers as natural outlets to the ocean, and that they had become terribly angered by the construction efforts. Debates were made on whether or not construction should continue before a full report on the environmental impact was made. However, under pressure of contracts and health standards, construction continued regardless. This forced the local council to hire entirely new workers from out of the country to work on the dam, as the locals refused to continue working on the construction of the project due to their superstitions. Oddly enough, after several weeks, even the foreign workers resigned after claiming to have been attacked by humanoid sea creatures and regarded the entire river as being cursed. In an effort to appease these strange creatures, the council was forced to perform cleansing rituals and make offerings to the creatures before construction began again with no further issues. Although most do not make the connection, Zambia, the closest country to Zimbabwe, built the Kariba Dam in the same waterways within their borders. The project was determined to be a necessity in the region, as the water from the river would not only be able to power all of the electrical requirements for that region, But it would also prove to be a major work program that would allow a number of locals to generate income while working on the projects to be used to help spur the local economy of the region. Unfortunately, many of the religious figures already suffering under the oppressive hand of the government felt that the construction of the dam was a violation of the principles of their god known as Nyaminyami. Nyaminyami was, more specifically, the god of the river Zambezi and was believed to reside within the river. Religious figures argued that if the dam was built, then Nyaminyami would curse them for messing with the natural ecosystem and bring on a terrible tragedy, urging the locals to defy the government and refuse construction. Despite this sentiment from the religious leaders, many of the locals would still go on to work on the construction of the dam, assisting in the government's tactic to force the native Batonga people to move from their homes and live elsewhere. Almost as if directly predicted by the religious leaders, shortly after the Batonga people were moved, a devastating flood tore through the region, and due to the half-construction of the dam blocking the only direction for water to flow, it led to the entire dam becoming destroyed, killing every single worker that was working on the construction of the project. Oddly enough, however, not a single body has been recovered. Given the fact that the majority of those who died were locals, this led to many of the relatives begging the religious leaders to help lift the curse and allow the dam to be constructed without any future problems. Religious leaders then gave instructions to the people for the only way that the curse would be lifted. They must sacrifice a calf and offer it to the river. For some inexplicable reason, after the ceremony was completed, the bodies of the workers appeared where the calf was placed in the river, allowing the souls to finally be put to rest. The Blackbeard Merfolk sighting. Edward Blackbeard Teach is remembered as one of the most fearsome men to have ever lived, becoming a legend during his own lifetime as one of the greatest pirates to have ever lived. Although his reign as a pirate only lasted a short 2 years, it was the terrifying cruelty of Blackbeard that cemented him as a legend. Many merchants and fishermen would often claim that when in battle against Blackbeard, they had believed him to be the devil himself, due to the fact that he would often put smoking fuses in his long black hair and beard and strapped weapons on his body to make himself look less human and more like a monster. It is for this reason that experts find it extremely peculiar that Blackbeard often wrote that his number one fear of the open sea was that of his mermaid sightings made in specific regions. Blackbeard often wrote that he believed the sighting of the creatures were an omen of bad luck, and that they had made attempts to drag him under the water and steal his gold. Blackbeard would often end his logbook reports with warnings to his crew members of the enchanting powers of the mermaids and never to revisit the areas of his sightings. The story of Captain John Smith. According to rediscovered documents published back in 1849, during the year 1611, as Captain John Smith and his crew were travelling around the West Indies, they spotted a strange creature in the waters beside them. The crew described the creature as resembling that of a woman for the upper part of her body, except with a few key changes in her face, such as that of her eyes, of which were described as larger and more round, a short nose, long ears, and bright green hair. The lower part of the creature's body was described as being similar to that of a dolphin's body, and not that of a fish or scales of any kind, as other tales of mermaids claim. Interestingly enough, when researchers looked for the source of the tale concerning Captain John Smith and his crew's encounter with the mermaid, they found that the original author for the piece, that was later published in 1849, was the author of The Three Musketeers. This has led many skeptics to believe that the stories could have been fabricated. However, at the time, the author was more than well versed in writing articles pertaining to non-fiction, and had even co-authored other pieces that involved true stories of encounters with mermaids. This helps to not only prove the author's fascination with the subject, but that the rigorous fact-checking involved with publications at the time more than helped to steer the author clear from fictitious accounts in his works. Still, to this day, many claim that the account is nothing more than a forgery, despite evidence of Captain John Smith and his crew encountering other strange creatures in the sea and often writing about them. But what do you think of these strange ocean mysteries involving documented mermaid sightings from all around the world? Be sure to let us know in the comments section below, and be sure to share your answers and questions about the video to help grow our community and share insightful comments about the nature of these topics. Hopefully, as we continue to grow our community, we will one day be able to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.